Welcome to the Casey Digital Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Casey. In this episode, I've got Sam Jones, who's the MD of Tunafish Media, and he also does a lot of work in and around the Manchester area. He's got some great stories about growing his agency and also helping out with homeless charities and going to Buckingham Palace to receive an award for some of the work that he's done. He's got some really good stories. I hope you enjoy the episode. So, Sam, for those who don't know who you are, please give a quick introduction.
Yeah, I'm Sam Jones. I'm the Managing Director of Tunafish Media. We're a content marketing agency based in Manchester. We launched in 2011, and I also run a homeless project called Not Just Soup. Cool,
thank you. So, starting out in the industry, how did it kind of all start out for you?
Yeah,
uni and stuff.
Weirdly, so I'm from Failsworth, which is like North Manchester. I knew pretty early that I wanted to work in marketing or media. Didn't know what that was. At 15, I got a job in hospital radio. By 16, I was working for radio stations in Manchester.
What kind of time frame was this? What kind of year?
Not
trying to out you for your age.
Yeah, so I'm 31 now. So it's like 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
And then sort of what happened was, did okay in radio. Like, had a career sort of open up in radio. Decided it wasn't really for me at the time. Social media started being a thing for the first time. So It was like MySpace, Friends Reunited. I was the youngest in the radio stations that I was working in by far. I also looked like a social media I looked like I had like dyed blonde hair. I looked like all of
Mick Flair.
Yeah. Like I used to use my mum's straighteners and stuff. I had like a little fringe. I looked like all of McFly Red together. So like because of the way I looked, they put me in like charge of social, and I just brought a lot of them stations on.
Straighteners.
Yeah, online, and then
my mate used to have some. I was just like,
oh mate, I used to go through them all the time, like, and yeah. Bad times. I loved that hair. I'd have it back if I could get away with it now. But kind of fell out of love with radio, fell in love with social media.
Cool.
Went to uni. I was working whilst I was at uni and on the stations, and then when I left, worked in marketing for a year, and then me and two course mates from uni started an agency basically, and not looked back.
Right. Okay. And when you say that, obviously, radio wasn't right for you.
Yeah.
But then going into things like social and content creation and all that, what was it that drew you towards that?
Was it
something specific?
I enjoyed it, like building the audiences, and the things that I loved about radio was that kind of interaction. With the audience. That happens very little in radio. Most of the time, you just sat in a dark room talking to yourself,
or a greenhouse.
Yeah, as we are now. But yeah, and the reason that I kind of fell out with radio was, like, at the time, Chris Moyles was massive, well, figuratively and audience size. Like, but and the trend changed, so everyone in the building was like on air. So I was doing like traffic and travel updates and shit, and that's not me. Like, ended up increasingly being on the radio, which was not what I wanted to do at all. So kind of like I just didn't like the way it was going. Really,
I
don't think it's like that. Do you know what? It was really not a pressure environment at all. No, not really. It's just a bit weird. Like, but It's weird radio, because you think, right, you kind of got to be cheerful all times. Right. Do you know what I mean? Which is not me either. So, I just I enjoyed the time that I spent working at these places, but I kind of just didn't want to do it anymore. So moved more towards the marketing side. We started Tunafish 9 years ago this week.
Congratulations. Work anniversary. I don't know.
That's like someone in the office said today, are we doing anything for that? And I was like, what? I don't know.
People normally do it around like 10 years.
Yes, maybe next January we'll do, but yeah, no one cares. No kids going big on the 9th birthday, are they? Do you know what I mean? Like,
no. We
get to double figures.
We rebranded at 40 years.
Did you?
That's why we're now called 77, because it was founded in 1977.
We've still got a long while to go before
Yeah.
that, so yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully you'll still be around in 30 years' time or 31 years' time. But yeah, no. How is it running? Because I'm always curious about this, because it's not easy at all running an agency now, because there's so much competition.
Yeah.
What was it like back then when you were starting?
We was a shambles when we started, and
Really?
this story is like, we've told this story a lot, so we're not really that embarrassed by it anymore. But we started the agency with like no experience, no network, no startup capital. So just kind of, we knew what we wanted to do. So the other two guys' background was video, mine was social. We thought them two things would merge, as they have now done. We was probably a bit too early on it, if anything. But so basically, it was all 22. It was probably a bit too young to do it. So we'd work on the agency in the day, not pay ourselves. And then we worked on a bar near Victoria Station, 6 till 12. And then we lived above the bar because we cut a deal with the landlord to lock up.
Do that while...
lock
stay
up.
over while you were working there.
So the three of us were together like all the time. And it was like a horrific 24-hour sitcom, basically. Just like working on Tunafish, working on the bar, and then living above the bar. And then we did that for about a year. And at the end of the first year, we had a couple of like really big campaigns that got us a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Won quite a lot of awards, did well for clients. And then we had one called Captain Manchester, which was for Forever Manchester, which was this sort of charity character we created for them. That went like really viral.
And it's still going today.
Still going viral. Yeah, still going. So, and after that, I think kind of just clients just started to trust us a bit more. We want free.
Bit more professional kind of thing.
Yeah, because before that, I think we was just like three lads in their early 20s who like, they'll try really hard, but do we trust them with a budget or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, why have they got these stupid haircuts and stuff? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, after that, I think we'd kind of proved that we could do it, and then people trusted a bit more. So we've just gone from there. So, in answer to your question, like, I don't think it was that difficult at the start.
Yeah.
Because there was no expectations.
Yeah.
Anyway, we kind of think we didn't need much to live. Do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't have like mortgages, kids, anything. We didn't have any responsibility.
Low levels of commitment.
Yeah, we could have literally done anything, and it was just good fun. Like, we were just like, obviously, I wouldn't recommend probably working the hours that we was working across the two, but I loved it. Every single second of it.
It's quite exciting when it's your own thing as well, I suppose, because you know that whether it works out or if it doesn't, it's just you three cracking on, and you don't have like the dependencies of staff and
that's it.
You know, that's all the baggage that comes with growing a business that isn't just you and a couple of people. So I suppose they're the kind of, you look back at that and think how mental it was, but how good it was. Is that like?
Oh yeah, I loved it. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah. When you were saying around, you know, Tunafish and stuff, and you've obviously built, as far as I'm concerned, one of the more well-known agencies in definitely Manchester, if not the Northwest. Hopefully, you know, further afield as well. But when you guys have worked on a lot of different campaigns, I always found that it does reach like the press, and I think a lot of people in the industry know about like the campaigns that you did. Like, I know you did that, did like the chat thing, didn't you?
Yeah, we did that. Yeah,
that was really good. Yeah.
Well, that was
talk us through that.
Yeah, so that was a bit nuts, to be honest, because that did a lot better than we was expecting it to do. So it was a piece of content for a client. It was the day Trump was being inaugurated. We just created, it was a WhatsApp group of how we thought it would go if there was a world leaders WhatsApp group and Trump was added in it. And it was basically just Trump kicking off, and we had a bit of fun. It was a weird day because one of our guys was leaving. He'd been offered like a contract to play rugby professionally in Australia.
Really?
So it was his like last day, and then we was gonna kind of knocking it on the early afternoon, and we was all going out to like celebrate and thingy. So we was like, we'll do this bit of content in the morning, and it was just 10 of us changed our names to like a different world leader. So my phone was like David Cameron, and we was just going back and planning it, and then kind of knocked it together really quickly, showing it the client that they liked it, put it out, and then did a bit of the seeding stuff that we do with all clients, like sending it to like Barbell, Unilab, whatever.
Yeah.
And then went out for a drink, and like about an hour later, the phones were just going mental.
Really?
It did like 200 million views in 3 days.
Fucking hell.
It was mad. It was really, really mad. We knew it'd do well, but not that well. But yeah.
There's something about that type of content in there. Not just Donald Trump like hyped content, but it was just because a lot of people have copied that idea.
Well, it was the first time that there'd been a WhatsApp text group piece of content.
Yeah.
And then we did a bit of research, and in the 6 months afterwards, there was 20,000 like of them WhatsApp. Things. So I think it just kind of caught. I think the reason we did it is because the reason it come about was everyone's in WhatsApp groups. You know what I mean? And someone said in the office, like, I wonder what WhatsApp groups Trump's in. And that's literally how the idea came about.
Spark it off, yeah.
Yeah, and it went from planning to done to out in 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it was a quick turnaround. So there probably wasn't enough time to plan how well we think it would do. We just pushed it out. And a lot of our content is reactive to what's going on around us. And if we've got an idea, just do it and get it out.
Was that the most rewarding thing that you campaign that you've done? I mean, it's a tough one to ask, I suppose.
There's been quite a few. It was an interesting day. So we put 5 pieces of content out, 4 for clients, 1 for ourselves, which were like viral pieces.
Right.
And it was quite a competitive day because obviously it was a big news story. There was like a league table of the top 20 pieces of content released globally for brands that day.
Right.
And that was number 1 by a country mile.
Right, okay.
But we had 3 more in the top 20.
Really?
So we had I think it was 1, 9, 11, 15, 20, something like that.
Nice.
And they all smashed it apart from the one we put out for ourselves. Which did nothing. It did absolute garbage, but everything we did for clients worked and did well and got a lot of traction, but the one that we actually put out through Tunafish just absolutely bombed.
I think that's isn't that any agency though? Aren't every agency we speak to, if it's a web dev agency, they fucking hate the website, or if it's a social media business, they don't like the content that's on YouTube or on Twitter or whatever.
This wasn't us not liking it. This was
you actually liked it.
No, in terms of audience numbers and how well the audience reacted to it, it absolutely bombed.
Right, fair enough.
But the ones we did for clients,
4 out of 5 ain't bad though.
But it's just one of them. We made everyone else look good, and we look like absolute muppets. But yeah, to be honest, the one that we put out for ourselves, I thought was the best of the 5. But
right,
they just proved, don't they, that you never know, do they? But
not so. I mean, especially nowadays with things, you get these, like you described earlier, something like Lad Bible. If something goes on Lad Bible, it might get 5 million views just because it's going on Lad Bible. It might not be the best piece of content, but it's got the eyes.
They've got that audience, haven't they? One of the other pieces of content we did for a client, I thought was absolute garbage, and it smashed it. It did really well. So, on the day, Trump walked out of the doors of the back of the White House. Oh
yeah.
And one of the guys in the office, he just took that clip and put the Darth Vader theme over it. That's all they'd done, and just put it out. And I was like, that's lazy. And it smashed it. Everyone was buzzing. Yeah. So it's just one of them, isn't it?
Yeah. You never truly know.
But we've built a kind of internally, our sort of ethos is what I think is not necessarily right. If you think it's going to work and the client wants to go with it, just go for it. Do you know what I mean? And that was, I think, a good case of I was wrong and everyone else in the building was right. So.
Your creative process then, because you guys are content creators as well as pushing stuff out there. You do a combination of the two. What's your? I mean, I'm not trying to get this secrets or whatever that means. I just air quoted, but
yeah.
I'm thinking what's your creative process, and
so
how do you go about that?
We have a lot of meetings and a lot of sort of everyone in the company around a table or in the beanbag area with a whiteboard. It's quite simple. It's this is what's coming up over the next week.
Right.
So for example, we've got quite a lot of clients in gambling at the moment. It's United Liverpool on Sunday. we need to probably think of some content for them for that. Like, obviously the bigger stuff, the more hero stuff's been planned with the clients for ages and stuff. But anything that's like little viral bits of whatever, we kind of plan ahead. So we'll have like a calendar of everything that's coming up over the next couple of weeks, and these are the clients and what can we kind of pair. And it's quite simple. It's just throw some ideas around, see what sticks and what doesn't.
We do something similar, but what we do is to try and, because there's a lot of people who can chat on in our business, including me. I'm front of that queue. But the process that we do is we do a 10 minutes. Everyone gets a minute each, and we'll do 10 or 15 minutes. And you've got to bring what your idea is to the table. So we might send it in the morning and then say, right, okay, at 4:00 we're going to do a 20-minute stand up. And you bring it as a piece of paper or a video or a printout or like whatever it might be, and say. I've seen this campaign out there. I love it. This is what I think we should do, but slightly change it with this angle and that kind of stuff. So it's making people, because I always think the best ideas are the simple ones, like the Donald Trump one,
Darth Vader.
Yeah, Darth Vader. WhatsApp group. It's I think. I mean, it's not always the case. Obviously, it's good to have layers to things, but I think if you're just trying to get impact, we often do it like you said. You'll plan bigger stuff. So the overarching campaigns for what people are doing for spring, summer, or for Christmas, or for key events is kind of planned in advance. I think this viral, or not viral, but this ad hoc stuff. Yeah. It's where you get the kind of traction with the audiences.
My worry would be the simple stuff. I do agree that simplicity is usually key, but my worry is if it's really simple, like the Darth Vader thing as an example. Yeah, I'm surprised no one else had thought of that and put it out on the same day.
Well, someone's probably done it.
Yeah, but,
somewhere along the line, someone else will have done it along the line.
That was my worry. Whereas the thing with the WhatsApp group, had never been done before. It's unlikely that two people are going to have the complete same creative idea on the same day. So.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's how it's what your spin is on the content of what you think they would be talking about, which makes it unique as well.
It was weird as well because I watched it back for the first time recently, and loads of stuff that we put in there has kind of happened since.
Oh shit!
So like career kickoff stuff. There was quite a lot with like Putin and
what you were just like
Brexit.
This is that ludicrous that it won't happen.
But yeah, we just kind of like it's just I think we're just playing up to characters. And everything's happened in real life. So.
Yeah, like he's going to create some space police. Oh, it's happening.
I think
it's
the
really
space
happening.
Police is a great idea. I'd love to work for the space police.
So would I. I think that's what I want to do.
And never buy a pint ever again. Would you like just walk into what would you do? I'm in space police. What do you do? But
yeah, that'd be. I don't know what the fuck goes through his head though when he comes out with some of these things because he's actually being serious.
It's absolute gold. Like I can remember like peak Donald Trump on social media recently, and that is weird because obviously running a social media agency, we get asked to comment on social media stories by the press a lot. And like the best email I've got was like one of the national newspapers were like, can you comment on Donald Trump's latest tweets and how he's using social media? And I'd not seen what he'd done, but I was like give me 10 minutes or whatever. And it was she called Stormy Daniels, the porn star that he'd had an affair with or whatever. It was aimed at her, and it was the President of the United States tweeting, right, is it time for Horseface to go away now? Or something like that. It's like, well, I don't really know what to comment on this, to be honest, because it's not really a social media story. It's the President being lunatic, isn't it? But the President calling a porn star Horseface on Twitter is peak social media, isn't it?
Like, and you're like, well, based on my 10 years experience in the industry,
I've never seen this.
No, this shit doesn't happen every day. Yeah. So no, I think there's a lot of stuff that we'll look back at this period of time. I think history will look back at this period of time and be like, what the fuck is going on?
What is going down,
So when you're working with brands and businesses, so you're talking about what your process is for coming up with campaigns and ideas. We often work, like some people might come to us and the website traffic's plateaued, or they need to, I need to go on to the next level, I need to push it up, or I need to reach a new audience and stuff like that. What do you think, or how do you think social media and the content kind of ecosystem within social media? How do you think all that kind of helps people push forward and reach new people?
So we're completely KPI led. So we tend not to get involved with clients that are just after a bit of brand awareness or something like that.
Because that's easy. You can just ramp up the impressions and click.
Cheat it as well and stuff. It's not really for me. So like ultimately the one that 7 out of 10 want is more business or more sales or leads or something. That's relatively straightforward, and we work across industry on that, and we're getting sort of results in legal to fast fashion. Do you know what I mean? There's different ways to do stuff. Some of the other more interesting stuff, I'm working on a project at the minute, which is it's more using social to recruit. Because if you're recruiting a lot, but for this is sort of like manufacturing and sort of like a government sort of so like it's quite a weird role, but using social as a way of potentially cutting hundreds of thousands of pounds off your recruitment fees,
because it is expensive.
Recruitment, it is expensive. Well, they charge like 15-20% of the salary, don't they, usually? So the thing is, it's usually like expensive, and it is like, I need this paying now. Some of these roles in these industries are like 200k salary, so 40k to hire one person. Do you know what I mean?
It's a lot of money.
So like using sort of social to offer a different avenue for that, I find really interesting. I think there's a lot of sort of problems that you can use social to deal with, if that makes sense. So the KPIs do change. It's just I think it's just getting under the bonnet of the client and just seeing what needs to happen, really.
We do we mainly work with e-commerce. That's kind of what our business is all about. So we don't really, like you said, the ROI thing, we do really struggle when it's like, I want to get views on this video. I'm like, well, it's like a slot machine. You put your money in, and you're gonna, you're gonna get the views. Like that's fine. I suppose it's trying to break down what are you trying to achieve, and I think those because we are KPI'd against revenue essentially. And the efficiency you spend through your ROAS and whatever else, and your traffic levels and whatnot. I think what we have to do first and foremost is educate our clients on what that process is. Getting traffic. You don't just turn it on and everything works perfectly. You got to warm the audience up and then convert them further down the line.
It's becoming a lot more sophisticated over the last 18 months. Like 2 years ago, even from like the client side marketing managers, like 2 years ago, a lot of the ones we dealt with only really cared about stuff like video views and engagement.
Followers on Instagram, no one gives a fuck. Like you can pay for them. Like why don't? Who cares? No one cares. It's all like a lot of them are fake. We're because we do mainly e-commerce. It is difficult though. Do you work in with e-commerce clients? It's quite tough, I think, sometimes because when you get things like the site have issues or the conversion rate or the site speed or whatever it might be, they're the factors outside of the control that make it challenging
for clients that's so reliant on the website. Nothing ever works perfectly all the time.
Of course,
not a day, so it's just kind of battling that all the time. You get used to it after a while, don't you?
We have been doing. I think we're doing social media ads in PPC now for about 4 or 5 years. As an agency, because we're like just a content creator first, and then we've moved into this area.
Of course,
Whereas I think some of the businesses who were built like that from day one have always been used to that way of working, and then what they need is the content to go on top of the campaigns, to make the campaigns really work. So it's a slightly different world not everyone's used to that, even within the agency or even, within clients. Some people are just like, oh, that's a really good video, job done. And it's like, well, no, now you've got to get a return on investment on that content. You've got to get X amount of views.
Like you said, that is more important than the content.
We were talking the other day internally, and we were like, the platform updates and stuff that, like how you manage Facebook Business Manager or Instagram, whatever it might be. We're saying that's like 20% of the job now. It's about content.
Honest, like personally, like as we've grown as a business, I do very little of it myself anymore. In fact, I don't do any of it myself anymore. It's like the teams that do it. So like, I was talking about this recently because like when we started, I fancied myself as I probably knew my way around the platforms better than most people.
Yeah.
Now I think if you stuck me in business manager, like it'd be like teaching someone who's never been on the internet before. It's moved that forward.
Yeah.
But like we've built a really good social team, and especially like a paid media team for that. But like I try and keep my finger in because obviously I've got to speak to clients and stuff like that. But to actually do the ad myself, I don't think.
It changes all the time, and the ad platform, I think, was built for 20-year-olds. I'm 34 now. You're 31. We've got to accept it. You know,
We've got to accept what age.
That's before our time. It's like if I say to me, Dad, go on to Google Analytics, he'd probably shit his pants. Like he won't know what he's doing. So I've made peace with that a long time ago. So I'm in the same boat as you, because I log in there and they're like, oh yeah, you just change the ad copy here, and then you see the split test and the ad creator there, and this is where the preview.
I still find it fascinating.
No, I love it, but I think it's chaos.
I just don't have the time.
It's not structured enough for me. Yeah. I go in there and I can go in, get the data and reports that I need to, look at the campaigns that I need to, and then get out and like, don't know what that was, but trying to wipe my
visual comedy sweat off my brow.
Yeah. I'm still learning that. But yeah, so just finally on the kind of content creation, social stuff, how do you see that evolving, like kind of now? Because a lot's changed, like you said, a lot's changed the last 18 months. Next 18 months looks,
I think the thing for us, purely from a content point of view, and we're spotting this now and we're making some slight changes to our offering at the moment, is I think clients are going to want their social content to look more and more premium.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of it still does look raw. A lot of it is one person with a camera following a model around, especially on the social stuff.
Yeah,
I think you're going to see a closing of the gap in quality between the sort of TV stuff or the hero content and the little throwaway stuff.
Yeah.
I think agencies are going to have to move quickly on that because it's a lot of work as well.
It is, yeah.
But I think you've seen it already. I think that there's going to be a massive change in quality of that sort of what you class as throwaway content.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think memes and GIFs are going to evolve.
Yeah.
Which I said this at a conference recently, and people were like, "Well, no one really cares about memes and GIFs. They're funny, but like they're a massive percentage of what actually goes out from brands now."
Yeah.
I think we're going to start seeing them personalised, so they'll be
branded,
including the staff. Already seen a bit of that already. I'm surprised that didn't happen more last year, to be honest.
Yeah.
Again, just time consuming. I think overall, if we take both of them into account, I think just brand social media accounts are going to be a lot more tailored, a lot kind of well thought through, planned, less left to chance, left a funny meme here. It'll all be premeditated.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So Sam, I know you're a proud Mancunian. But what's your favourite thing about Manchester? All joking aside, it's a good place, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know what? Like, it's an amazing place to grow up and to start a business and to live. There's loads of things that do me head in about it, though.
Go on, let's start with that.
Yeah. So, like, nothing works, does it?
No, like the transport.
Just nothing works. So, like, you can't drive through around it.
No.
You can't drive anywhere because what we'll do is we'll dig all the roads up at once.
Oh, there's a sinkhole or...
trains don't work. The tram's all right, but it only works in like optimal conditions. Homeless people everywhere. It's really badly lit. That annoys me.
Yeah.
I just think if when you go to like other leading European cities, like, and obviously you're probably only there for a couple of days or whatever, everything just seems to run a bit smoother than it does here.
I went to Berlin and everything is perfect.
Oh yeah,
like it's an amazing place, and the U-Bahn is like on time, and if anything it comes early, and they're like, yeah, this is what happens. I'm like, not where I'm from.
I don't understand how we mess it up so much, but
who do you put that down to? No, let's not go there.
It's weird because I think even from like local politics, obviously Burnham's the mayor, but like I think there's questions over what is he actually, does he have the power to do? Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, just sort it out. Like Piccadilly Gardens, I've just walked through to get here.
Yeah.
And that's the doorstep of the city in my eyes. Like if you're getting a train here, that's the first thing you see.
It's your first experience.
Shithole, absolute dive. So yeah, I've answered your question really badly here. What are you proud of? I love the people.
What's your favourite thing?
Yeah, the people. Yeah,
the place is
you maybe want to cut out the last 3 minutes. Like I don't think I'll ever be invited to like work on tourism. Yeah, the people are great.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do.
There is, yeah.
I just sound like a mime now, don't I? But there is a lot to do.
No, there is a lot to do, but it takes you fucking ages to get there.
Good. Yeah. I reckon it's worth checking out for anyone that's not been here. I think it was just someone who, as you say, is proud to be from here. There's a lot of things that annoy me.
It's a good community. It's a good community though in our sector and stuff. Like obviously that's how I've kind of connected with you over time, and that's how a lot of people are doing business.
It's an amazing place to run a business, and like it's a really supportive business community out there.
You definitely get a combination of different types of businesses as well. Like there is professional services, in places like Spinfields and King Street and stuff. But then you've got like agencies and the brands that are here. It is good, and I think I feel like we are kind of more together, especially when you go to London and like people pushing old ladies out the way so they can get on the tube.
Gosh, yeah.
It is more collaborative. I feel it is a collaborative space, I think particularly in our industry. But with like, I know we were just saying, obviously I'm going to Germany on Monday for a day. You go. I'm assuming you're fairly well travelled in terms of like both your work and your personal life. Outside of obviously Manchester, which you say that you like it, but.
Well, I think I've got a slightly skewed view of Manchester because I've lived here all my life, but and I'm proud to be from here. But there's just some stuff where I'm like, why is this not working how it should be?
I couldn't agree more.
So other places, I've always been in love with Scandinavia in general. I think I probably have long-term aspirations to live there for at least a year.
Nice.
Love Helsinki. That would probably be my first choice. If I said go live elsewhere, I've spent quite a lot of time there, and it's just amazing. There's a really good design community out there. Food's great. I prefer cold weather, to be honest. Probably not for everyone in that sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably somewhere around those parts. I'm going to Tokyo next month actually, which is like number one on my bucket list. I've never been before, so I'm excited for that. That'll be good. I think spent quite a lot of time in New Zealand as well. I think I'd potentially live there when I'm a bit older as well.
Nice. I always like when I speak to people, because you've got quite a demanding schedule, and you're always busy. When I spoke to you, it's kind of like, I've been doing this, and then I've got this, and I've got that. Oh, and by the way, I run a company as well. Do you have any like routines or rituals to help you balance things out? Because it's always difficult getting the right balance, isn't it? Especially if you're an MD of any business. Yeah,
I wouldn't say I have the right balance anyway.
Okay.
I'm an early riser, so I tend to get up at about 4.
Right.
That's not like you read a lot of these inspirational quotes and stuff, and they like get up at 4 and do this. Mine's less by choice and more I'm awake and I can't get back to sleep.
Right. I thought you were up with The Rock in the jungle.
I've just been reading some stuff about The Rock, and he's like, I'll get up at 4 and like I'll train twice. I'll get up at 4 and I'll usually train for a bit and then faff around with a dog for a while.
Right,
and,
fair
like,
enough.
Read a bit of the news or whatever. It's not like I'm getting up and like going mad.
Yeah.
I'll get up early, and I feel like that sort of like 4 till 6 part of the day.
Yeah.
I'm easing myself into the day, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Because no one's brain's working in that time. So,
I agree.
Like, have a kind of semi-intense workout, play with a dog for a bit, read the news, and that sort of 2 hours is sort of really important for me, I think.
And heading into the office kind of thing after that?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I tend to get into town between 6:30 and 7:30 normally, I think. I prefer having my meetings earlier as well, because I do, we were discussing this in our office recently actually, I'm like, the first half of the day I feel I'm sharp and I'm on point. I'm probably best to meet people then. And then when we start getting to the time that we're recording at now, my brain stops working a bit. So like, I try and get like any sort of meetings with people done in that first half of the day really. And then the second half of the day, I'll be doing stuff at my desk and stuff like that. Which is,
I listened to this guy called Sam Harris. I don't know if you know who Sam Harris is. He's got his own podcast, but I think he might have been on like Joe Rogan or something.
Right.
But there's like a psychological study that's been done across like lots of different sectors, and it's something like before 11. That's when you should do your analytical, key decision making, all that stuff, and then in the afternoons you should be trying to do less kind of things that are using certain parts of your brain. I don't know the exact thing.
That's
obviously I'm bumbling my way through it. Sam did a better job of describing that one, but I think a lot of that early morning stuff, like I get the training. I can read a book on the train on the way in, but if I try and open a page and try and read it, I'm just dossing about, and I'm on Twitter whilst having a book open and just messing about. Really, I can't read it on the way home for some reason.
That sounds about right as well. I think for me, I think I'm not going back to that sort of like 4 till 6 period. I'm not a kind of wake up and start doing stuff straight away sort of person. I do need to bumble around for a bit, to just sort of
like warm up, kickstart your
I usually like get up, have a shower, make some breakfast, faff with the dog, then I'll start. Do you know what I mean? Then my brain will start warming up.
Yeah. Obviously, I know this. I don't know if not a lot of people will know it, but I've seen a lot of the stuff that you put out there around like mental health issues, and I think we were talking about before. Obviously, getting the right balance. You're saying it's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
And I know you've even spoken like BBC, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, and how you've been dealing with anxiety in the past. How have you kind of coped with because when you're the MD, the book stops with you.
Yeah.
And, I know you've got other business partners and stuff, but ultimately the book does stop with you.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of pressure, especially, there are lots of different levels of pressure and different types of pressure. How have you kind of coped with that kind of anxiety and balancing your mental health as well as running a business?
So I've always had issues with anxiety as long as I can remember, so it's not necessarily been a career-based thing. I'm just anxious person.
Like teen years,
as a kid, I overthink stuff. I think overthink the smallest thing to the point of absolute tediousness.
Right. Okay.
And I think kind of just got better at dealing with it over the years, looking after myself a bit better, because I think that, like the other things, let's be honest, our industry, there is quite a strong drinking culture. And I guess especially in the past, I probably partook in that more than most people did, and I think it's just that stuff like that doesn't help. Make sure I'm working out regularly, that helps. You know what I mean? Spotting the signs, like for me, it's never been a case of I wake up one day and I'm really anxious. There's usually signs for a couple of weeks beforehand that something's on the way. And it's just, like changing some habits before then. And still never get it right. Like, I had a bad spell recently. That's the first bad spell I've had in a couple of years. And I probably...
What does bad spell mean? I don't know.
I have like panic attacks and just generally... when I'm really bad, like struggle to get out of the house, struggle to get out of bed, stuff like that. And had a bad spell like just over the Christmas period recently. Right. And that's the first time I've had that in probably a good 3 or 4 years. And I think, and like with that, like the signs were there.
Do you talk to people when you're going through things like that?
Yeah, to be honest, this time I kind of, traditionally, normally, like I'm quite self-aware enough that I can feel something coming, but this time, it was that period of the year, that December period, when you work in our industry, it's like you've got to go see this client, you've got all the end of the year stuff. And I just kind of, not ignored it, but I just kind of just ploughed on through. Yeah. And then as soon as I had a bit of time off over the Christmas period, it just caught.
That's when everyone gets ill.
It just completely caught with me.
It's when you get colds and stuff. And, like you stop working and then you go to, right, okay, what we're going to do today? We're not go for a walk.
So so like New Year's Day this year, it was like, I think New Year's Day for many people is the day like where it's like, right, new year, new me. Mine was, I didn't leave the bed with panic attacks. You know what I mean? So and I think like that, I said to a close friend of mine recently, like I wish I'd just sort of told her or one of my other mates or something like that I felt this coming, because then once you kind of opened up a bit, they're not going to let me get that bad. But this time I just completely fucking ignored it, to be honest, and I don't think I'll be doing that again.
Yeah, it's one of them. I've had some stuff around anxiety, like mainly it comes through as like you overthinking in your brain, like really worried about things like physical things like chest getting tight and a bit sweaty.
The chest
kind of
stuff is a killer for me.
But you get like a sharp pain.
Mine feels like I'm just on fire, basically.
Mine's like a sharp pain. I was like. You don't know what things are, and I was like, because I'm asthmatic, I was like, I just need me fucking inhaler, I'll be right, and I wasn't. But I think a lot of the things that I know, because I've done some work with Calm. I don't know if you know what Calm are. Campaign Against Living Miserably, and around like depression and everything else, and I try to help raise money basically, which is. Quite cool to try and help people out who are in that situation. But this was when I'd ever been through anything like that. So I'd already heard about a lot of the things, like some of the basic pieces of advice, like talking to people, physical exercise, trying to get through, to things like that. How does it affect you in the Sam Jones, the MD?
I don't know. Not really. It's weird. I've had quite a lot of conversations with Rick, my business partner, about this, and from a business point of view, I think I thrive under pressure. I feel
it's a different kind of pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, all my I feel I get more anxious when everything's going right. That sounds stupid.
Something's not right.
Something's around the corner.
We're gonna get screwed.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think, as you'd sort of said before, like every time we chat, I have quite a fast-paced lifestyle, and I'm always trying to do something. I think I'm not a good rester. I'm not a good chiller. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's them moments that make me anxious. Right.
Okay. I think it would be useful for people to hear.
I hope the other thing is just like, to be honest, my problems with anxiety got a lot easier to deal with as soon as I just started talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's quite a scary step, but as soon as I started talking about it, everything just become a bit easier.
Yeah, opening up and
because I hid it for years.
There are only certain people you can probably talk to about stuff like that as well. Which is, it depends. Someone has to know you quite well, I think, for you to have that relationship.
I did it in a really weird way, though. I started talking about it, right? So there's a guy I know who runs a business magazine.
Yeah.
And he knew I had problems with anxiety. But, just because it's something I've mentioned to him, like in the pub once or something.
Yeah.
And like my friends and my family knew. Do you know what I mean? So that wasn't a big deal. But then it was like Mental Health Awareness Week or something, and he'd wrote quite a few articles about like mental health in the workplace and stuff, which was going in this magazine, and he wanted someone to check him who had experience.
Yeah.
So I checked him for a minute, and my thing was like, well, they're all right, but there's not any examples in there. Do you know what I mean, of like people? And he was like, yeah, that's well and good, but like I can't just ring people I know and say, oh, are you anxious? Will you be in this? So I basically I did it as a favour. Right. So my first time talking about it was in like a business magazine with
publication.
Like 100,000 subscribers, and it was like I remember I was out for a jog, and like the email, like their daily roundup, their weekly roundup email come out, and it was like entrepreneur opens up about mental health, and I was like, I wonder who that is, and it was me, and I was like, So to be, and do you know what? That was one of the best things I've ever done. It wasn't hidden anymore, and kind of it was like telling everyone like at once. Do you know what I mean? Like, there you go. Like, and it literally was just as a fate, and like by that point, I'd come to terms with it enough. I wasn't that bothered anyway. So I never had them weird chats, you know what I mean, where like, I need to tell you this thing, I'm not well, because it was plastered all over Twitter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so...
And then people picking it up and going, you all right, Sam?
Yeah, well, to be honest, a lot of people, it was weird because a lot of people just got in touch going, look, thanks, like this, because I've got the same, and like people that I never would have like guest or you shouldn't be guessing who's got problems with it, but like people that would have
never. It's very individual, isn't it? Everyone's different.
Yeah,
so you've got to treat it like that.
And then just like having comment. That was probably one of the best things that we've done because I just it was out there then, and there's not a great deal you can do about it. So but I obviously won't recommend that as a thing to everyone. You've got to be quite comfortable, but but I think by that point I just wasn't that bothered anyway because like everyone in the company knew because I'd had about a year before that I'd had a panic attack in the office, and they thought I was like having a heart attack and was like going to ring the ambulance and stuff. And I was like, well, you've got to have that conversation after that. So
you got to acknowledge it, haven't you?
So people who like needed to know knew anyway, so I'm not really bothered about. Yeah,
fair enough. Just kind of changing tact a little bit and looking at your career and when you look back over like advice and things that you give people, because I'm sure you do throughout that period of time, is there any like a book or a quote or a video or a piece of content that you share with people, and it doesn't not necessarily relating to anything, whether that's social or if it's video or if it's content or if it's agency, brand, is there anything that you share with people and say, look, this is really good, I think you should have a look at it?
Books in general for me, like I'm a big reader and that's the stuff that I'll tend to gift someone after a meeting and stuff. I don't know if it's like one in particular. There's a few that I always go back to. Like I'm rereading Shoe Dog at the minute. Have you read that?
I've not read it, no. One of my colleagues has got it.
I'll send you a copy over. It's really good. That's just like the story of Nike and how they launched. And the reason I like that so much is Nike are probably the most recognizable black brand on the planet now. If you were reading that book and it's from the CEO, it's a shambles, some of the stuff they're doing at the start. Do you know what I mean? It's not the sort of slick machine you would expect it to be, and I found that really inspiring. The other one is I have problems with procrastination.
Right, yeah.
Like there'll be times where I'm really good at just boxing stuff off, and there'll be times where I just can't get out of second gear.
Yeah.
The War of Art's really good.
Right, I've not read that.
It's a play on the art of war, which is the Chinese military.
Right, okay,
that's good. There's some really good like practical techniques in that for just getting out of it. Like a work rut or just getting stuff moving a bit quicker and getting the brain moving. I love those two.
Nice.
They're the two that I tend to send on. And then on the video front, this is quite sad, but I love those like motivational compilations on YouTube.
Oh, thank you.
I'll jog to them. Everyone hates them, don't they?
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm so happy
they've all got weird titles, haven't they? Like Be Fearless or whatever. But and it's always like
Tony Robbins.
Yeah, and it's always like The Rock or someone shouting like random stuff, and it's just compilations, a load of quotes. I listen to them while I'm jogging.
I'm so glad that it's not just me, but I don't do while I'm jogging. I just like watch a little Instagram clip of Gary Vee or Eric Thomas or Tony Robbins or
it's
something.
The same characters over and over, and I'll go with them. Yeah,
I do it to give me a kick up the arse, because I do need a kick up the arse. You can ask my team, my wife, or anybody that works with me or anything like that. I do need a kick up the arse every now and then, and I don't do it because it's quite cheesy, because it's often like an American kind of. Do this today and and leave the past behind and blah blah blah. But I just get a little bit pumped. I think it's a bit like wrestling. We used to watch wrestling back in the day.
Yeah. Well, it's just always like one more lap. One more lap. Yeah. This could be the time. Do one more lap. Which when you're jogging, it's great. Like my pace is going up and up all the
time. This is a funny question to ask people, but I do like to ask it because it's kind of a flip on what normal, we ask about successes, but I also like to ask people about their favourite failure in the career. Something that stands out where you think that was bad, or really learnt from that, or I wouldn't be at where I'm at if I wouldn't have taken this path. I've
had some absolute shockers, to be fair. I'm just trying to think of any that stand out, but I've had some awful ones over the years. But
it could be anything. I mean, like decisions and stuff. So, like with me, I made poor decisions in the past to go and join a business, and the cultural fit was terrible, and and it just wasn't right for me. And at the time, I thought, shit at my job and shit at what I do. But
this is like an ongoing failure, and I'm banned from being in interviews for new employees at the minute.
Right. Okay.
I think I say
you didn't tell me that before you signed into the podcast.
Yeah, I think at the minute, indefinitely I'm banned. Because I have made some shocking hires, right? I've made some absolute shockers. Like every bad hire we've made as a business, I've led, and it's been my decision. Right. My problem is, I just in interviews, I tend to just like everyone, and I don't spot the signs.
It's not practical. I
don't spot the signs that maybe some more rational people would spot, and I've had some absolute shockers.
Really?
We
won't go into names.
Of course we won't go into names, but like some hires which are it's like, oh, Sam, who's this person you've hired? Oh, it's Charles Manson. Do you know what I mean? He's a really nice guy.
He's really nice.
And
charming
I think
fellow.
Like some of the stories in the office are like, Sam hired this person, which fucking no one in the world would hire. Do you know what I mean? Like, and there's been a few of them.
Yeah.
But
so you're not good at hiring people.
I think my thing is I just tend to see the best in people, which I think I'm not. Probably I'm not. You've got to have a certain mindset in job.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you're the interviewee,
I
think, and I just don't have that.
Right.
Whereas my business partner Rick, all the best hires we've made, he's led.
Right. Okay.
But I've had some absolute shockers.
Okay. If you could put anything on a billboard that could reach millions of people across the world, and it's not to sell anything, an image or a quote or even just a word or a picture, what would it be?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. You've not done your own work.
Well, these questions come through quite late.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's have
5 minutes ago.
What do I find really inspiring? Like
something that you'd want a lot of people to know.
The image that I find really inspiring, and we talk about it, and a person I find really inspiring is Felix Baumgartner. Do you know the Rick Finger guy? Yeah. That guy fucking went to space and jumped out, right?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
That is mental.
It is, yeah.
It's like, he must have balls bigger than
the Red Bull finger.
That is the maddest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Right? And I'd probably just have that image of
him in the.
Do you know what? Well, they had the camera angle, didn't you?
Yeah,
It's just like comes out of his little ship.
Yeah.
He's in
I'm trying
space,
to rig it up now.
and he just jumps out, and I find that really inspiring. I watch that clip a lot. Like, who fucking goes to space and jumps out? Do you know what I mean? Like,
there he is. Look at him. Red Bull.
And it's also responsible for one of my favourite tweets ever, where Rihanna tweeted, "You only live once," and like a picture of her in a club like this.
Yeah.
And he tweeted that photo back
as a response.
"Bitch, please," under it. Like, and I was like, who is this guy? I didn't know who he was a week ago, and now he's out here jumping out of space and all that sort of stuff. I find that image really inspiring. I'm not sure other people would, but
pushing boundaries, mate. Yeah, absolutely. If you were looking out or looking back throughout your kind of career, who is there somebody or something that's been kind of a big influence?
Yeah, there's been a few. Michael Palo is the most obvious one that comes to my mind. He runs an agency in Manchester as well called Studio North. They've been going a while. He's always kind of looked after us and give us guidance and kind of stop us doing stupid stuff, which is nice. Sandy Lindsay.
Yeah.
She gave me my first job. She kind of, again, has always been there to kind of give us guidance and stuff like that. Shout at us mainly, but give us guidance as well.
Everyone needs shouting at every now and then.
Yeah, I think those two have personally been the two biggest influences over my career, and I'm very thankful for them looking after me.
And then with regards to your kind of source of inspiration, like in your working, like, what you're saying before about the videos where it kind of gets you pumped up when you're going for a run. Is there anyone that you look out, or I mean, you don't have to say a specific person, or is there a company, or are there people out there where you look up and go, wow, that's really the benchmark? It's
weird, like everyone. I find a lot of things inspiring.
Yeah,
like I kind of get inspired all the time by little stuff. It's always been footballers for me.
Right. Okay.
Cantona is the one.
Obviously.
It's the most obvious one. But even like over the last year, I found Greta Thunberg really inspiring and all that sort of stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
the scale of change that she's brought through, I think, is ridiculous.
But it's like some of my mates from back home are like, who is she? What's she doing? I'm like, oh, do you remember the time when you was 15 and you was going to Germany and you was bollocking world leaders? No, well, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and that sort of stuff, I think, because if you look at her, it's just that, as you say, that just momentum out of nowhere. I find that sort of stuff really inspiring.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant.
She's really probably the most current one that I think of.
Yeah, and again, looking back at the bad things to come out of this period of time, Trump, I don't really like to say the B word. Yeah. You know, other things that are going on in society where you just think, God, it's really bad. But actually, it's not all bad. And, you know, and I had a guy on previously, a guy called Don Carter, and he told me that he was reading a book. Wow. He was reading a book and it was talking about facts in the world and like that there's so much less famine, there's so much less disease, a lot more people have like access to electricity, access to the internet. You know, like they were comparing it like from previous decades and generations and stuff. And we've actually got it really good. And I think there's a lot of people, although there's a lot of bad stuff, I think the media and the way that things like social media kind of adapts the public agenda makes it feel like it's a lot worse than it is, but there are a lot of shining lights out there, and she certainly is one of those.
Yeah, I read an article yesterday actually, which like I found really inspiring, and it's really annoying that now I can't remember the name of the company or the name of the two guys doing it, but there was two guys from Scandinavia who were, I think they were from Sweden, and they were taking ocean plastic, and then building these sort of bricks with it. They look like large Lego. Yeah. And then building houses in Africa for people that didn't have houses. So it's like two things in one. Do you know what I mean? And it's just absolutely smashing it. And the houses, like, obviously they clip together really nice and then put a roof on them and they're cheap and then it just works. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, two huge issues solved with a relatively, going back to simplicity, a relatively simple idea.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just go do it.
Taking it from one problem and solving another problem. Yeah. Right, okay. So talk to me about Not Just Soup.
Yes, so this project started with a couple of other guys 3 or 4 years ago now. Homeless project, so homelessness is bad in Manchester, as we touched on before. Met this amazing charity called Coffee for Craig. If the two of us were homeless tonight, they taught us out of bed, mental health support, drink and drug support, clothes. They just sorted us out.
Yeah.
But they didn't have food on the kitchen, and they needed the food is what gets most people in the building. So met them. We've got a lot of kind of clients and contacts in sort of restaurants in Manchester. So the way it's set up is each session, a different restaurant cooks for the homeless. It's fresh food. It's not like leftovers or anything like that. It's at Coffee for Craig, and we're essentially a red herring to trick people into the building so they can get actual support they need.
Right, okay.
That's pretty much it. Costs nothing to run, so everyone's volunteer. The restaurants provide the food. We're in the same space as Coffee for Craig.
Yeah. Where is that? Just for
it's in the Northern Quarter.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It's done 45,000 meals.
I know. I saw that. I was trying to research some of the numbers. I knew it was well into the thousands.
Yeah, it's done 45,000 meals, which is mad.
It is.
And yeah, it's just one of them things. Like I think ideal situation for us is we're not needed anymore and we shut it down, but that's not looking that likely at the moment. So
yeah, with regards to like when it first kind of started out, was the trigger that you went to Coffee for Craig and you saw the state of it?
Trigger. So there was a few of us. Coffee for Craig's brilliant. They were outside at the time. My trigger was I've got terrible work-life balance.
Yeah.
Which I guess has got better in the meantime since. The only hobby I've ever really had is playing football.
Yeah. 1,
I'm rubbish, and 2, I've got the knees of a 95-year-old man. So I was like, just got to the point where I couldn't look at a 5-side pitch without like doing my ankle in or something.
Yeah,
so I was like, I need something else here. My mate has a restaurant in the Northern Quarter. He was feeding a homeless guy who like sort of lived behind his restaurant a couple of times a day, and then we met Coffee for Craig, and it just kind of evolved quite naturally. We did a 6-week test run.
Yeah.
And then never stops.
Does it happen every night?
No, so we're 3 nights a week at the moment.
3 nights a week,
yeah,
right.
Coffee for Craig are open every night. They've got people providing the food the other nights. We're looking at trying to get enough restaurants to extend to another day at the moment, which is sort of ongoing. That should happen in the next 2 or 3 months.
And is it a team of people that do that? Like, who actually helps facilitate everything?
I sign the restaurants up, so I'll tend to solely do that, and I do get a lot of intros and stuff off people because people tend to know we do it now. Then there's 5 or 6 volunteers, and we sort of run it between us in terms of picking the food up, serving it, getting the pots and stuff back to the restaurant. It's quite a simple setup. All the real work done there is done by Coffee for Craig.
Yeah,
do you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah.
We're literally just a mechanism to get people fed.
But if it gets people through the objective is to get people through the door and then try and help people.
And the food's quality. The restaurants absolutely go to town as well, and they're sort of in a bit of competition now because the homeless have started rating them.
Really?
Yeah. To the faces and stuff. So
really?
So the restaurants really bought in. So the food's good. So we get decent numbers, and then Coffee for Craig are amazing. They actually do the work. Yeah.
I think it's really good, man. Obviously, I already knew this because I saw it in the press at the time. You got the Queen's Award for that.
Yeah,
for the work that you've done.
Won the Queen's Award last year, which was mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So
I don't know what that means.
It's essentially an MBE, but for a group.
Brilliant.
So it's it's the equivalent of an MBE, but for an organisation.
Nice one.
I run it with my best mate who I've known more or less since birth. So we got to have a little day out at Buckingham Palace, which was weird.
Did you meet the Queen?
No. They line you up.
The Queen's Award. What the fuck?
Yeah, no. So basically, how it works is it was a bit weird. So they line you up in 4. So everyone gets. I think we got to Buckingham Palace at 3.
Right.
It was a garden party. Everyone goes in the back garden. Then at 4, the royals turn up, and it was they put you in 4 lines, and there's 4 royals, and you meet a royal.
Right.
So it was the Queen, Charles, Camilla, and Princess Anne.
Yeah.
And we was just in this line, and we met Camilla basically.
All right. Okay.
Just a bit. So some people there would have met the Queen or whatever.
I got the short straw there.
Well, she was all right. She was sound. I quite liked her, but
I think she's got a bad rep, but she seems
all right. We actually thought we'd got the Queen,
right?
Because my mate's a bit taller than me, and he was looking down the row, and he was I think we've got the Queen, but Camilla and the Queen had the same more or less the same outfit on. So when we got close to that, no, it's Camilla.
Right. Okay.
But it was. Do you know what we just walked about the garden and stuff. It was weird. It was one of them experiences I doubt I'll ever get again. It was mad.
I know you didn't. Obviously, based on the numbers and the longevity, you've clearly not been doing it for awards and recognition like that. I suppose the most rewarding thing for you is that you actually help.
Do you know what? I actually enjoy going down there. It's the setup is weird where it's the atmosphere. It's more of a social for homeless people, they're having a laugh and stuff.
Right.
I enjoy it. I think for me, the most rewarding stuff is when someone comes over and they're like, right, you won't see me again. I've got a job, or I'm doing something
brilliant
like that, which happens, which is nice. Also, I buzz off when we get a restaurant come down for the first time and their staff are serving, and then, do you know what I mean?
You see the reaction of what it's like. Yeah.
That's nice. That's really good. But from an awards perspective, we won the Queen's Award. That's the only award we've ever been given or whatever. That was just out the blue. It was a bit mad. Go to Buckingham Palace and pick this up. But you don't really expect that.
But that's obviously not why you're doing, is it? The driver is obviously, like you said before, for a start, you're wired that way.
To be honest, if we're being perfectly selfish, the reason I was doing it was because I needed a hobby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the way you're wired.
Yeah. And all I've done really is create more work, if we're honest.
Yeah.
So balancing work-life balance has been a complete failure, but I enjoy it. So
if people want to help out, how can people help out?
Yeah, so at the minute we completely oversubscribe on most stuff, so volunteers, restaurants and all that sort of stuff.
Right, okay.
Over the next couple of months, it looks like we might have an extra day or an extra 2 days, and then there'll be opportunities on that front. Loads of people do want to help homelessness in Manchester. What I would suggest is there's a lot of organisations out there. There's a great website called Street Support.
Right. Okay.
And it's not that site's not just for Manchester; it's anywhere in the UK. If you go on there, they'll tell you in your town and city exactly who needs volunteers, what sort of help they need.
Yeah.
So I just kind of try and direct everyone there because, like,
it might not be this specific thing, but there is always people who need help.
Everyone needs volunteers or something like that. So, I'd look on street support because there's a lot, and even if you've got like a particular skill or whatever, like someone I know had a look on street support recently. They're an actor by trade.
Yeah,
there is there's a project which is getting homeless people into like the arts to raise confidence or whatever. So
for going to
sort of their skill can
like
be used and stuff. So there's loads of stuff like that on there. It's definitely worth having a look.
Perfect. And with I know you've been involved with Forever Manchester for a while as well.
Yeah.
We work with Forever Manchester. A client of ours. We do some work with them as well. Like what kind of work have you been doing with those guys? Because I know obviously Captain Manchester was one of the campaigns that you worked on.
Yeah, so I've volunteered for those guys since I was about 16, 17, to be honest. So like, and now I'm like vice chair, I think. Is the current thing. Yeah. So now kind of a lot of like my role at the minute is to getting them intros and kind of
networking on
their behalf. Yeah. But over the years, I've done a bit of everything.
Yeah.
To be honest, great charity, great people.
Yeah.
Doing really good in local communities.
Like, it's all across Greater Manchester, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's brilliant. I didn't realise, obviously, it's one of those things that's kind of well known in our industry and well known in this area. But obviously, some of these things I don't know what it actually entails. You know what I mean? It's like Shana, who was talking about before, she's the vice chair of the MPA, and I'm like, what does that actually mean? You know, what does it mean to be an ambassador of a local charity and stuff? So you help connecting them. That's kind of your role now.
And then I give a bit of marketing advice when they want it and stuff like that. But but that's sort of what I do at the minute. Right.
Okay. So just finishing off, I like to give people advice. If they're starting out in the industry or thinking about getting into the industry, leaving uni, or they might want to change career, whatever.
Yeah.
If someone's starting out in this kind of in the industry and how in the areas that you're working within social, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think if you're at uni or college or something like that, is just get as much experience as possible whilst you kind of being funded to be there, or whilst you've got the lifestyle that you can do that. I think for me it's just getting stuck in. Like I think people like do worry about too much about getting it wrong or not knowing where to start. Just have a bash and get going. That's I think starting is the hardest thing for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I completely agree.
Too many people taught themselves out of something before they've done it. I just start. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. You just go again. But just getting started is the most important thing for me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did with this podcast. And I was saying to someone the other day, the first podcast that I did was me sat in, literally driving through Manchester in my car with my AirPods in, recording what I was just saying, just chatting on indicators and like you can hear cars and the car engine and everything else. And it was really shit, but I'm going to look back at it and go, that's part of the journey. It's part of creating content and putting content out there and seeing how to, get more views, more listens and whatever else. Because if you can have a base level understanding, as far as I'm concerned, there's no excuse these days as well. I was saying like when I was a little bit younger, I don't want to turn into the whole when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But, it was like Encarta Encyclopedia and like on a CD-ROM.
Of course,
this is before Google and you can do so much now. It's accessible to everyone. So, I think that's a solid piece of advice. Where do you go for your kind of any tips or what's going on in the industry?
Yeah, a few places. I think for me, though, I love Medium.
Okay,
yeah. I think if you use Medium long enough, it becomes really tailored to what you want. And like I've used it for 4 or 5 years now, and it is almost like a tailored individual newspaper of stuff that I need to know.
Yeah. What kinds of things that pop up?
So like a lot of my settings are kind of like marketing trends, other people's campaigns, just general stuff going on in the industry. Mine's quite weird actually because it's half that and then
half
just
United,
half a load of stuff about dogs and football.
Yeah.
So like, and do you know what I mean? Like if you can break up like 10 articles with a couple of dog videos. Why not? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I think if you can get using Medium properly, that's a good place. I think for local stuff, I do check Prolific North every day, more or less, just to see what's going on and stuff. And then
check you're not in it, just in case you've accidentally signed up to something.
Yeah, check I've not like done a mental health talk or something. But like, but yeah, and then and then just like apart from that, just kind of your wider news like the BBC site and stuff like that. But I think it's weird. Medium for me is the one that I spend the most time.
Cool. And just finally, if you could give advice to your 20-year-old self looking back, what advice would you give yourself?
Cut that hair dye out your hair.
Oh, I think you need to bring it back.
Right, yeah. Oh, do you know what? At the time, I thought I was absolutely cool as fuck, but looking back now, I'm just like, I'll see if I've got a photo, which obviously doesn't work on a podcast, but if you want to include
I'll put it in the show notes.
I'll send it in so you put it in the show notes, but like, it is bad. So when the 10-year challenge thing was going on last year, I put it out, and a lot of people were like, what the fuck? Fuck
off.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I took that very seriously, didn't I?
You look like Justin Bieber's older brother.
Yeah, I was going big on that sort of boy band flex, but...
Right.
Yeah, so
we need to get a better picture than that.
I'll see if I can dig one out for you.
I'll put that as the thumbnail of the episode.
No, I'd rather not the thumbnail, but like it can be hidden in the background somewhere. But yeah,
right, no worries. Yeah, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks
I really
for having
appreciate
me, mate.
it.
I appreciate it.
If anyone wants to get in touch with you at all, or about anything that we discussed, what would be the best way?
Twitter and Instagram's Sam Jones MCR. LinkedIn, I'm relatively straightforward to find on there. You can get my email through the Tunafish site.
Perfect. Thanks, Sam.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm your host, Paul Casey. If you'd like to connect with me, find me on LinkedIn or on Instagram, the username Casey Digital, or just search for Paul Casey anywhere you find me. Thank you.